On Breakfast Television, OMNI BC and City legislative reporter Kim Emerson. Good morning, Kim.
Good morning, Jody.
So let's dive right in. Cabinet being named Friday, but not sworn in until Monday. How unusual is that?
This is really unusual. I honestly can't remember this ever happening before. Normally, governments that are elected go by the protocol. And the protocol is that you are sworn in as an MLA, and then the cabinet is selected and named, and then you go to Government House, and the official investiture ceremony takes place. This is all backwards, because not only is the cabinet being named on Friday and sworn in on Monday, the Liberal MLAs aren't even being sworn in as MLAs until Tuesday. So this whole situation is, if you pardon the expression, a bit ass backwards, but it doesn't matter because they are government, they have a majority, and they can pretty much do what they want at this point.
Way to say it like it is. How does Christy Clark keep all of her star candidates happy?
Well, you know, that's a good question, because what she was left with in the past was kind of Gordon Campbell's hand-me-downs. And so with Gordon Campbell's hand-me-downs, that didn't always sit well with Christy Clark, because there were people in her cabinet and in her caucus that she didn't particularly care for or necessarily want there. But she didn't have a lot of choice. Now she's got a whole bunch of new people that she, in many ways, has handpicked, or her staff have handpicked, to go into ridings, and she's got a lot of star candidates. The real difficulty for her will be satisfying all of those people, because she's got Amric Verk, she's got Daryl Plecas, she's got Sam Sullivan, she's got Teresa Watt, she's got all of these new people, Michelle Stilwell on Vancouver Island, all of these new people, and many of them that she'd want to have in her cabinet. She's got a few things to consider, such as geography. She's only got 2 MLAs elected from Vancouver Island. Likely, you'll see both of them go into cabinet, Don McRae and Michelle Stilwell. She's also got to consider ethnicity. I don't believe we'll see John Yap back, because we have not seen the end of the ethnic outreach scandal situation, because the Freedom of Information Protection and Privacy Commissioner is still doing her own investigation into that. So Christy's got a lot of things to consider, but you are going to see several new faces, and this really will be her cabinet.
Speaking of what she must consider, what's the latest on Christy Clark's seat in the BC legislature? Any idea where she'll run?
Well, that's a really interesting situation, and you're not even going to find, well, because they're not doing things according to protocol, you may actually find this out as part of the big ta-da on Friday, when they have their big party and they can invite all the people they want to, and they can name the cabinet. You may see someone step up at that point and say, hey, Christy Clark, I'm going to step down once I'm sworn in as an MLA, and then you can run in my seat. That is possible. More likely what you'll see is all of the MLAs from the Liberal side get sworn in on Tuesday, and then what you have to watch for is the person that doesn't have their shoes tied and ends up tripping and falling for her, in essence. So we've got a whole bunch of ceremonies coming up in the next little while. You've got this thing on Friday. On Thursday, Andrew Weaver will become the first MLA in the province of British Columbia for the Green Party. Then he'll be the only actual MLA until Tuesday, when the Liberals are sworn in, and then Vicky Huntington is sworn in. And then on Wednesday, the NDP will have their ceremony at the BC legislature, where their MLAs will be sworn in to opposition yet again.
Wow, could we make this any more complicated? Follow the bouncing ball. One last question for you, Kim. How soon before the legislature starts sitting?
Well, this is kind of the interesting thing, Jody, because it all depends if Christy Clark actually wants to be on the front benches and answering questions and putting her opinions out there. If that's what she wants, then they're going to have to wait until, based on the timing, it'll be probably early August if she wants to go in and actually sit on the front benches. You have this weird situation as the premier, as a cabinet minister, and because she was a former MLA, she can sit on the floor of the legislature, but she has to sit at the very back, and she cannot speak, and she cannot answer questions. I can't imagine Christy Clark wanting to sit in there with all of the things that are going to be going on and not being able to talk. So we may see the legislature come back partway through July, and then she'll be sworn in if she wins her by-election in early August, and then she'll be there for the finish up of the legislature.
I wasn't 100% truthful there. I have one more question. Is that okay?
Okay, go ahead.
We haven't heard from Adrian Dix in a while. Anything new from him?
You know, it's funny you mentioned that, because last week, I guess it was, he issued a response, or maybe it was Monday, he issued a response to the government's stance on the Enbridge oil pipeline and how Enbridge wasn't meeting the conditions that the government had laid out. And we heard from him, and really, overall, that's kind of the first kind of action that he's taken as the opposition leader. I think he's still really, really feeling the sting of that election defeat, because a lot of that was his orchestration, his desire, his wants, his needs that went out on that election campaign, and he's still trying to figure out how a nice guy could finish in second place.
Kim Emerson, OMNI BC City Legislative Reporter, thank you for being with us. We'll see you in a couple of weeks.